Looking back at George Best, the 1968 Ballon d'Or winner, it feels almost effortless to recall his unique blend of footballing genius, razor-sharp wit, and unmatched charisma. On the pitch, he was a magician with the ball, a winger whose skill, vision, and daring style left fans in awe. Off the pitch, however, he transformed into a larger-than-life personality whose charm and humor made him just as unforgettable. Supporters loved him not only because of the breathtaking goals and dazzling runs he produced for Manchester United but also because of the way he carried himself outside football. He lived life in a whirlwind, surrounded by expensive cars, bottles of alcohol, and a lifestyle that perfectly reflected his reputation as the game's first true celebrity footballer. Teammates often reminisce about how he lit up dressing rooms with both his brilliance and his mischief, never failing to leave people laughing. Best himself leaned into this perception, famously joking about how he spent his wealth, once saying, "I spent a lot of money on booze, birds, and fast cars. The rest I just squandered." That line alone cemented his place not only as a football legend but also as one of the sport's most entertaining characters. Humor in football has always been an underappreciated side of the game. Academic studies suggest that the average adult laughs only about 15 times a day, whereas children can laugh as many as 400 times, and while hard-nosed figures like Roy Keane might argue that football is no place for comedy, supporters know otherwise. Football isn't just about tactics, competition, and trophies, it's also about the unpredictability, the characters, and the moments that make us smile. Although fans don't usually tune in to watch a match expecting to laugh, some players have made sure to add a comedic spark to the beautiful game, whether through outrageous interviews, unusual celebrations, or cheeky antics on and off the field. From intentional pranks to spontaneous humor, football has long been graced by figures who blur the line between athlete and entertainer. Take Liverpool's Bruce Grobbelaar, for instance. In the 1984 European Cup final against Roma, he turned a tense penalty shootout into a comedy act by wobbling his legs like jelly on the goal line, a tactic that looked ridiculous but ultimately helped Liverpool secure the trophy. Or Paul Gascoigne, better known as Gaza, who brought his natural English humor into football with bizarre stunts like arriving at training with an ostrich, all while remaining a world-class talent capable of moments of brilliance, such as his legendary free kick against Arsenal in 1991. Then there was Mario Balotelli, football's ultimate troublemaker, whose infamous "Why always me?" shirt in the Manchester Derby turned into one of the most iconic celebrations of the modern era. From setting off fireworks in his own bathroom to bizarre pranks at training, Balotelli became both loved and ridiculed for his antics. Other names stand out as well. Jimmy Bullard, with his cheeky grin and his unforgettable mock team talk celebration, embodied the idea of football being fun, while Thomas Muller brought his dry, self-deprecating humor to Bayern Munich, even turning Robert Lewandowski into Robert Lewandowski during a post-match interview. Neil Maupay has taken on the role of the Premier League's modern-day mischief maker, riling up fans and opponents alike with his celebrations and online banter. Peter Crouch, despite being a towering striker, turned himself into a cult hero through his robot dance celebration and witty remarks off the pitch, often poking fun at himself in ways that made him one of the most beloved figures of his generation. Jamie Vardy, with his relentless energy and sharp digs at rivals, has also etched his name into football's Hall of Humor, often celebrating with gestures that sting his opponents. And then, of course, comes Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a man who built a career not only on goals and trophies but also on his immense ego and godlike persona. Whether he was referring to himself in the third person, likening himself to a lion, or dropping one-liners in interviews, Ibrahimovic thrived on making people laugh, sometimes intentionally, sometimes just by being himself. His memorable response, "Lions don't compare themselves to humans," perfectly summed up his unique brand of humor: arrogant, theatrical, yet undeniably entertaining. Together, these players remind us that football is not only about victories and defeats but also about joy, laughter, and unforgettable personalities. From George Best's carefree charm in the 1960s to Zlatan's outrageous bravado in the modern era, the funniest players in football history have given fans more than just goals, they've given them stories, smiles, and moments that last a lifetime.